Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was loved by everyone in her village. She lived with her mother, who loved her dearly, but she was loved most of all by her grandmother, who lived in the woods. This little girl was called Little Red Riding Hood, on account of her velvet red cap and cape that her mother had made for her. It was her favorite, and she wore it every day. One foggy morning, her mother called for her. "Come here, Little Red Riding Hood."
"Yes, Mother."
"Take this basket full of cake and tea and deliver it to your grandmother. She is very sick and needs some tending to get better."
"Oh, no, I shall take them to her right away, and I will care for her until she gets better."
"Remember, go straight there and do not stray from the path, lest you get lost in the woods. There are many creatures there that can hurt you, and it's best you do not cross their path. Be quick and do not dally." Little Red started making her way to her grandmother's house. As she entered the woods, she couldn't help but be mesmerized by her surroundings.
"Oh my, look how beautiful the fall leaves are! Such brilliant red and golds, and these flowers, ever so romantic. These would make such a fetching bouquet."
Little Red continued her walk, stopping every so often to admire the scenery. Little did she know, though, someone was admiring her from the bushes. A starving, wicked creature had spotted Little Red Riding Hood and decided that she would make a good meal. He followed her from afar as he thought up his plan. "What a tender young creature! She would make a nice plump mouthful. I am too weak from hunger to chase her, so I will have to act craftily to catch her." And that is when the wolf had an idea. "Good morning, Little Red Riding Hood."
"Oh, hello there, Mr. Wolf. Good morning to you."
"Say, why are you in the woods so early this morning? The sun's barely up as it is."
"Why, I'm on my way to my grandmother's house. She's terribly sick, and I am to bring her some cake and tea for her to eat while I help take care of her."
"Oh my, I'm so sorry to hear that. Does she live in the woods then?"
"Mm-hmm. She lives just across the creek from a mile down, right under the big oak tree. Surely you must know it."
"Well, of course. You know, there is a meadow not far from here that is filled with all sorts of wonderful wildflowers. You should pick some for your grandmother. I'm sure a beautiful bouquet of flowers would brighten her day and help speed up her recovery."
"Oh, that's a wonderful idea, Mr. Wolf. I will go and fetch some flowers for her right away."
With that, Little Red strayed from her path to find the meadow. Once there, she began picking the most beautiful flowers for her grandmother, stopping to smell each one as she went. After a while, she noticed that the sun had risen higher in the sky, and that she had spent quite some time in the meadow. She hurriedly tied a ribbon around her bouquet and returned to the path to her grandmother's. Once there, she knocked on the door and waited. Only her grandmother did not answer. She slowly opened the door and called in.
"Hello, grandmother. It's your granddaughter, Little Red."
"Come in, dear."
"Oh dear, grandmother, I heard you've been sick. I have brought cake and tea for you to eat while I help you get better. Oh my, it's quite dim in here. I can barely see you. Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have."
"All the better to hear you with, my darling."
"But grandmother, what big eyes you have."
"All the better to see you with, my dear."
"Why, grandmother, what large hands you have."
"All the better to hug you with, my child."
"Oh, but grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have."
"All the better to eat you with." The wolf jumped out of bed, and before Little Red Riding Hood could do anything, the wolf had gobbled her up whole. The wolf, who was now full, was quite pleased with himself and his trick but he was also quite tired. My, oh my, now that I'm full of both Little Red and her grandmother, I'm very tired. It has been a long day of planning and trickery, and I think I deserve a nap. And with that, the wolf went back to the grandmother's to take a nap. Little did he know, at that moment, a nearby lumberjack had heard about Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother being sick.
Oh no, Little Red's grandmother is sick. I wonder if she needs any help. Oh, I know. I'll go to her house and split some wood for her fire. It's starting to be awfully cold this late into fall. A nice warm fire will help her get better.
Soon the lumberjack arrived at grandmother's house and knocked.
She's not answering. She must be in bed resting, but I should check on her quickly before I start on the wood.
The lumberjack went in and quietly gasped at the sight of the wolf asleep on the bed. He knew what a terribly wicked creature the wolf was, and he knew that the wolf had eaten Little Red's grandmother.
That vile beast has surely eaten Little Red's grandmother. I must be quick and quiet in order to save her.
The lumberjack silently crept to the edge of the bed. Slowly and carefully, the lumberjack raised his axe high above his head before bringing it down on the wolf's belly. The wolf let out a great dying howl as his stomach split open, and from it, Little Red and her grandmother tumbled out.
Oh my, how dreadful. Thank you, sir. Oh yes, thank you so much, sir. How frightened I was. It was quite dark inside the wolf.
All three were overjoyed to have come out alive from such a dreadful ordeal. The lumberjack made the wolf's pelt into a coat, while Little Red and her grandmother ate the cake and drank the tea that she brought. As Little Red tended to her grandmother, she thought to herself,
From now on, I will always listen to my mother and never stray from my path.